Hello Queens, it's still Women's Month. I'm wearing my crown again today. I'm Nomakosi Mkhize. I'm a transformation coach. I think I'm going to post this on my YouTube channel as well. Nomakosi's Women Transformation Bootcamp. Please go check my channel. In my Facebook page, I have a link to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for the comments that we got after posting the talk on Go Fetch Yourself. I think we're going to have episode 2 because my friends, my acquaintances, my sisters called me to say, you need to remind us to go fetch ourselves, more especially those who lost their husbands. Someone said, you know what, sometimes when we bury our husbands, we are buried with them and we don't really continue living a full life. So we're going to have an episode again addressing that one. And somebody said we need to go and fetch ourselves from our in-laws because our in-laws seem to be giving us a lot of challenges. So thank you so much, friends. I listen to each and every comment. I read each and every comment. So, and I take them into consideration because they are going to help us to grow. It's still Women's Month, Queens. That's why I'm wearing my crown. Thanks to my next door neighbor, because I want us to always remember our identity, because today I'm going to treat a very difficult, sad, hurtful topic. I know that if it's Women's Month, we really want things that will empower us, things that will, that will lift us up. I know, but, sometimes we need information, on certain issues. So today I'm going to treat a very difficult topic. But having said that, I want to remind you of your worth again, of your identity. You are a woman, you are a wonder, you are a treasure. The Bible says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. We go through a lot of stuff. Queens, we go through a lot of stuff in this life. The journey is too long. Many things happen to us. We are abused as women. My heart goes out again to Umthwalume. People from Umthwalume, what is happening there? It's oh my goodness, it's horrible. But our condolences to those that lost their loved ones, and our hearts just go out to all the people of Umthwalume. We hope in Jesus' name that the perpetrators will be brought to book. We know that there's a lot happening around that. But yeah, it's really sad because sometimes you realize that my only sin in life is that I'm a woman. You die just because you are a woman. So ladies, yeah, it's really tough. I'm calling you queens today. I'm going to touch on a topic. My topic is hidden faces of rape. I'm so sorry to be talking about this on Women's Month. Hidden faces of rape. In most of my clips, I usually say there is power in telling our stories. Today, this is not a speech, ladies. It's just a talk. I'll just talk. There's power in telling our stories. Today, I'm going to tell you a story of a client. And my client said, please share this story. I need people to know about this story. I'm not going to use the names, but I'm just going to share the story with you. I have a client. She's at university. She's doing second year. This is her story. She says, when she was born, seemingly, her mother was pregnant as a teenager. And her mother is born of a pastor. So they were a religious, they are Christians, they were a religious family. Her mother is the one and only child born to a pastor. She happened to be pregnant as a teenager. It was taboo, it was a disappointment. So at some stage she had to be hidden somewhere, for the church not to see her and what have you, because that was bringing shame to the family. Okay, she got a child, she came back. So when she came back, her parents didn't love her anymore. They didn't love the child. And seemingly the father of the child was not known. So this child was always referred to as a fatherless child. So the grandparents were so unhappy. The mother was so unhappy. As a result, the mother now didn't even love her own child. So this kid grew up. Fortunately, she just became an A student. From primary school, she became this kid who was smart. And you know, the teachers would always communicate with the grandparents and the mother to say, this is a smart kid. Because even at school, she says she didn't feel loved because she didn't receive love from home, so she didn't feel loved. So at school, she would just bury herself in her books. She wouldn't go anywhere, just be at home, go to school, come back, get the straight A's. So because of that and because of her behavior, now the grandparents started to love her. The mother started to love her. But you know, I always talk about the subconscious mind. That is a tape recorder. So her subconscious mind had already recorded that I am not loved. My grandparents don't love me. My mother doesn't love me. The only place where I find solace is in my books, because I read my books and then I get good grades. So she said, I'm going to bury myself in my books. Fast forward, she went to university. So as she was growing up, because she wasn't doing all the nasty things that the other girls were doing because of her background, I'm not loved, so at least let me know my books, study my books. So she says she was that, you know, she was that kid that everybody looked up to say, look at this girl. So now the grandparents were so proud of her, and the mother was proud of her. So they always referred to her as a virgin. This is our virgin. Look at her, look at her, look at the way, you know, she carries herself, because remember, the grandparents are running a church. So even in church, she would be this girl who is an example and what have you. So she went to university with her good grades. At university, in second year, first year, she was raped. She was a virgin, she was raped at university. She comes back home, so she couldn't tell anyone. And she says she wouldn't report because the guy who raped her was somebody who was feared, was a student who was feared by everybody on campus. So she decided, I'm not going to tell anyone, I'm going to deal with this myself. She goes back home. The parents refer to her as a virgin. Look, the virgin is here. Now she says her problem is she's dealing with this issue of rape all by herself. But she says, I cannot bring myself to telling my parents, to telling my grandparents and my mother that I was raped, because they think I'm a virgin. This is the saddest story I've ever heard. There is something that we are doing about that in order to try and tell the parents and what have you, but that's another story for another day. But I want to present this story to you, queens. These are the things that happen to us. Mothers, these are the things that happen to our children. That is why today I'm talking about the hidden faces of rape. Because if we talk about rape all the time, we refer to the stats that we get from media. We refer to the stats that we get from probably SAPS and, you know, yeah, SAPS. So, but let me tell you something. It is said that the most underreported cases are the rape cases. One of my friends once said, you know, if you hear about a number that is given the stats, that 10 out of 10 women are raped, you must times that by 3, because rape cases are underreported. So I want to talk about the hidden faces of rape. Something that says the girl next door has been raped. The girl that you meet has been raped. The woman that you are interacting with has been raped, because they don't report. Shame. You know, if you are raped, then the stigma attached to that. If you go to the police, they ask you, what were you wearing? Where were you? Our children go to parties and they spike their drinks. They rape them. They come back. They can't tell you, because they are afraid they were not even supposed to be there in the first place. So I want to say to us queens, I know it's Women's Month, but can we talk about this? Can we realize that the girl next door, maybe, just maybe, was raped? Hidden faces of rape. I want to look at, you know, large families. As Africans, we have these large families. There's an uncle, there's a brother, there's whosoever, you know, in rural areas, large families. The parents go to Joburg, wherever, to find work, and we leave the children, and the uncles rape children. Big brothers rape children, and children keep quiet. As a mother, you come back, you think everything is okay. It's not okay. And the children are scarred for life. Can we open our eyes? Hidden faces of rape. You are staying with your children. Your children have been raped. Your girl has been raped. And the boys are raped as well. But today I want to focus on women. Large families, check. Talk to your children. Try and find out. I'm not saying it's easy to find out, but sometimes, let's have those talks. Just try and check. And check if your child is changing. Your child was a happy child. All of a sudden, now there's something about them. They're unhappy. Check. Don't say, no, I leave them. I leave them with their brother. I leave them with their uncle. Things happen in families, in marriages. How many women are raped within marriages? And they will not report. Because where do I start? That is how they feel. How do I report my husband? I remember I once had a client who said, with me, I'm raped like every night in my marriage. Because this is what happened. What happens? If I feel like I want to have sex with my husband won't give me the time of day. But on days when I'm tired and what have you, then my husband forces himself on me. He seems to enjoy it that way. Hidden faces of rape. Rapes happen within marriages. So can you see, ladies? The lady next door is being raped. The lady you meet on the street, and we keep stigmatizing rape. The way we talk about rape victims, it makes people to keep quiet and never say a word. Hidden faces of rape. So ladies, why am I coming up with this topic? I want us to learn to support each other. Some women just need somebody to talk to and say, you know what, I'm in that marriage, but things are not okay. I'm being raped. A person needs support. I need somebody to talk to. What do I do? Where do I go? So can we be considerate even in the words that we utter, right? I want to talk about stepfathers, queens, dearest queens. Life happens. You don't end up with the father of your child. And then you get a stepfather. Some people move in together with the stepfather, or you get married to the stepfather. What happens? Can we open our eyes? Queens, can we open our eyes? This stepfather is your husband or your boyfriend, but things happen when you are not there. Things happen at night. And the child is trying so hard to tell you about what is happening. Sometimes you are in denial. Sometimes you are in denial because you want, you want to save your marriage. So you don't even want to listen to your own daughter. Queens, can we open our eyes? Are you going to sacrifice your own daughter for your marriage? It's so unfair. It's so unfair. If you are living with a stepfather to your child, open your eyes, open your ears. Check all the time how your daughter is. Talk to your daughter. Check if there are changes. Change is information. If your daughter changes somehow, that is information to you. It's telling you something. Have conversations with your daughter. How are things? How is stepdaddy dearest treating you? We know a lot of children, daughters who are living with their stepfathers, who are raping them. And they'll tell them, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill your mother. Hidden faces of rape. You are here with your child. Your child is being raped. You are not aware because you love this stepfather so much, or you love this boyfriend so much. Queens, can we open our eyes? Can we please encourage our children to talk to us? And please open the lines of communication all the time. With your daughters, open the lines of communication, because some of them are trying to say something to you, but you don't give them the time of day. Queens, it's happening right before our eyes. Can we open our ears, open our eyes, open our hearts? Because our daughters are trying to communicate something. Hidden faces of divorce. I don't even want to talk to women who will be like, keep quiet, don't say the thing. I don't want to hear you saying that. I don't want to talk to those women because I don't understand what kind of a woman are you. What kind of a woman are you? Because the first thing I always say, the first thing, when your daughter comes to you and says somebody raped me, the first thing that you do, you believe your daughter. Before you ask questions, believe and then ask questions. Because the moment your daughter sees that, okay, my mother believes me, then she'll tell you. But if you just show that you don't believe, I'm not, some of them can lie. A few of them can lie. But honestly, as a mother, believe your child. When she says, something is not right there, mama. Something is just not right. Stepfathers. Stepfathers, I'm not saying all of them, but most of them are raping our children. And your children go through life with this hidden secret and they carry shame. That is the worst part of it. They carry shame because they are young and they will feel like, maybe there's something wrong that I did. And some of them even feel like, I betrayed my mother. Because why is my stepfather raping me? I'm betraying my mother. Queens, can we open our eyes? If you have a daughter, open your eyes. If you have a sister, open your eyes. Whether it's a young sister or an old sister. Hidden faces of divorce. Hidden faces of rape. It happens right under our nose. Okay, I want to talk about divorce as well. We get divorced, we marry other men, carrying our children with us. What happens there? Do we check? Queens, let's open our ears, let's open our eyes. Hidden faces of rape. Sleepovers. Our children enjoy sleepovers. And I'm not saying that probably we need not allow our children, but there should be some restrictions, some boundaries, some ways of checking. Do you even know that family? The family that your daughter visits. Do you know that family? Do you know the family set up? What is happening in that family? Do you check when your daughter comes back from that family? Queens, I'm saying let's open our eyes. There are so many hidden faces of rape. You think rape is what is reported on TV or on radio. Rape is what is happening in your house. Rape is what is happening in the sleepovers. You are a mother, you are not aware. Children are sleeping over. Your old son goes to sleep with the kids. Honestly, I know that this is not something that we want to hear, but can we open our eyes? Hidden faces of rape. Oh my goodness. The way to school and the way back from school. I used to work in a place that was predominantly rural. You would find children walking long distances to school and back from school. What happens on the way? What happens on the way? Who bothers to check? We have children who grow up with shame because on the way to school they are raped. On the way from school they are raped. Queens, these are the things that are happening. You know, I decided to have this talk because I feel like if you can help in a way, you are seeing things that are happening with your next door neighbor, you want to help, have a way of helping. You see things that are happening in the community and everybody's keeping quiet. We are destroying our children by keeping quiet. Queens, these are the hidden faces of rape. We think it's on TV. It's happening on the roads that we use every day. You find children playing. People prey on the children on their way to school, on their way from school. Some just give them money and the kids don't know what to do. Can we open our eyes? Can we open our ears? Hidden faces of rape. This is not a good topic to talk about, but I want us to be open-minded about it. I want us to open our eyes and our ears because of the shame that our children carry. Remember the story that I told you. And let me just add this thing that we want our girls to be virgins until they are old. We want that. Every parent wants that. But I want us to check that as well. You imagine every day you say, oh, look at my virgin, look at my virgin. Your child was raped and your child can't even tell you. Can you see how hurtful that is? I'm not saying we mustn't be proud if our children are virgins. That's okay. That's good. But what if things happen to the child? To the child? That is why I'm saying, let's have an open communication with our girl children. Open communication, because it's sad. Our girl children are raped, they can't talk to us. Our girl children are raped, they are keeping quiet, but they are still carrying the shame. You can see the change in your girl child, but you say, it's the teenage stage. Sometimes you say that, oh no, it's the teenage stage. Oh no, she's growing up. Change is information. Change in behavior is information. Can you check with your daughter? Can you check with your child? Hidden faces of rape. Let me talk about our grandchildren as well. You find your daughter, when every time you ask about the father of the child, your daughter will say, no, it's someone, no, there's no need for you to me. No. Sometimes our daughters are raped. They don't want to tell us that they were raped. And they have children. Children who are the result of rape. How sad is it? And we don't know about it. I'm not blaming you. I'm not. But I'm saying that is what our children go through. Imagine you have your daughter. There is a grandchild. You even love the grandchild maybe. You don't know the father of the grandchild. Your daughter was raped. The whole story is just sad. Can we communicate more with our daughters? Can we try and hear more from our daughters? Can we look for the signs, for the changes? And if they happen to say, Ma, no, the father of the child, please have that in mind. It's for in tertiary institutions, our children are raped. I want to talk about, tertiary institutions and FET colleges. On campuses, our children are raped. There are so many stories around that. I remember the story of a child from one university who was raped by a boyfriend. Because it happens. You are raped by your boyfriend. You tell your boyfriend, no, I want us to wait. I'm keeping myself. And the boyfriend one day decides to rape you. One child was raped at university and she just couldn't take it. She went back home. She committed suicide. So sad. It's happening. With tertiary institutions and even FET colleges, our children rent rooms. Let me tell you, they prey on those children. There's a story that I heard of in my area of a child, an FET student, a child from an FET college. They were renting this particular room, and she happened to two-time old men. And when these old men found out, they raped the child for the whole day. For the whole day, they raped the child. That kid went back home and committed suicide. It was terrible. The story was told later by the friends that this is what happened. So these are the things, that the hidden faces of rape. There are so many stories, and they are happening with our children. I'm focusing on our children this time around. I know that as older women, we have our stories as well. But I want to say to you, let's check. You are with your child and you are busy praising your child. Your child is a virgin. It hurts because your child was raped. Your child has a child out of rape. The hidden faces of rape. Our children go to parties. We don't want them to go to parties. We restrain them. But because they are growing up, they are experimenting, they are exploring, they go to parties. In parties, their drinks are spiked. They are raped. Most of the children will tell you that I woke up with somebody I didn't know. I woke up in a place, but I had to rush home. They get home, they don't tell you. Some of them commit suicide. The rate of suicide is so high because of what is happening with our girl children. And we sit and we think, oh, you know what, these kids are spoiled. Sometimes it's because of the things that happened to them. They didn't have anyone to talk to. It's important, mummies, queens, let's open the lines of communication. I'm not saying all of them will talk to us, but I'm saying if we can have that in mind, that our daughters go through a lot, just like we went through a lot. And there's patriarchy. We are fighting patriarchy. Men force themselves on us as women because it makes them to feel powerful. So our children are grappling with that as well. Queens, can we be open-minded? Can we be open-hearted? Can we be aware that our children go through such? Honestly, it's Women's Month, but I felt in my heart that I want to talk about that. The hidden faces of rape. Our children live in flats. And these men see that they live all by themselves. They prey on them. You pay for the flat every month, but a lot happens. When they come back home, they can't tell us because they don't want to disappoint us. This kid said to me, the one whose story I was telling, she said, I couldn't bring myself to telling my mother because my mother knows that I'm a virgin. I couldn't bring myself to telling my grandparents because my grandparents brag in church that I am a virgin. I'm a university student, I'm an A student, and I'm a virgin. I'm an example in church. How do I bring myself to telling my grandparents and my mother? But can you see now the burden that this kid is carrying, this girl child is carrying? Because now all the time she has to pretend that she's okay. She needs somebody to talk to and say, Mommy, do you even know that I was raped? I didn't lose my virginity out of my own volition, but I was raped. Queens, this is not a lovely topic to discuss, but I felt in my heart of hearts that let's be vigilant. Let's be vigilant. If you have a child, if you have a daughter, open your eyes. If you are staying with a person who is a stepfather to your daughter, open your eyes. I know we should be talking about boys as well because boys are raped as well. But honestly, for now, I want to talk about our girl children. Queens, it's Women's Month. Can we be empowered enough to look for the signs? Because we want to help our children. We want our children not to carry shame of this, because the moment you discover, then you try. Take your child to the psychologists, the coaches, whosoever who will help your child. Because we don't want our children to grow up feeling less off because of what happened to them. This is a sad topic. I'm sorry to be sharing such a sad topic on Women's Month. But having said that, I want to say to all of us queens, if you were raped, that doesn't change your identity. Young, old, middle-aged, it doesn't change your identity. You are still a queen. You are still a princess. You are still a treasure. You are still fearfully and wonderfully made. I want you to, if you were raped and you are listening to this, I want you to dig deep from within. You are beautiful. Whatever happened to you has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with the perpetrator. It has nothing to do with what you were wearing. It has everything to do with the perpetrator. It has nothing to do with where you were. It has everything to do with the perpetrator. It has nothing to do with everything that people around you are saying. It has everything to do with the perpetrator. Because no must mean no. If you say no, it has to be a no. So queens, you are valuable. You are valuable. You are valuable. Don't ever doubt yourself. Don't allow the things that happen. The journey of life, I always say, the journey of life is too long. So many things are still going to happen to us, but hold on to your identity. Always remember that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. That doesn't, whatever happens to you, it doesn't change your value. You take a 20 rand note, you trample on it, it remains a 20 rand note. The value is not diminished. So do not allow people to diminish your value just because you went through stuff. Rape is just something that happened to you. You didn't invite it. But I want you to be strong. To be strong and say, I am going to fight these feelings that are bringing shame to me. Do not carry shame. Do not carry shame. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Queens. This was a rough topic, but remember, there are so many hidden faces of rape. Let us be vigilant. Open our eyes, open our ears, and open our hearts. Thank you so much, Queens.